We made it back for a second episode.
I can't believe it.
No, I thought this would fail after the first attempt, to be honest.
I mean, first episode, we had a cracker. We had Jaden Sweeney.
Yeah. League 2 champion, Jaden Sweeney.
How many people can say they've had a champion on their first podcast?
Yeah, not many people.
And we've got a cracker
No
for
one
our
in
second
Charlton,
one.
anyway.
Yeah, we're the best. We're the best. We've got a surprise for you on the second one. Another footballer.
Yeah, shock.
Same position.
Same, no, other side of the defence. He's from London, hence, him coming on this podcast.
There's a bit of a link, isn't there?
Yeah, he started playing for Crystal Palace, and then he made a trip abroad at 17.
But where did he go?
Borussia Mönchengladbach. And then...
Is it Reece Oxford?
No. No. Then,
It's better.
Then after about 5-6 years, he moved to the States, to America, for New York Red Bulls in the MLS. Stayed there for a couple of years.
There's only one player from New York Red Bulls. It's Bradley Wright Phillips.
Nah, I can't be him.
FIFA legend.
Nah, I can't be him. We'll get him on. Okay. And then he moved back to England. At the end of last season, he joined Swindon for the last couple of games of the season. Any bells? Bring any bells?
I think I've got it.
Have you?
I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the next clue.
And then, in the summer, he joined Charlton Athletic.
It's Mandela EGBO.
Lovely to meet you. Air shake.
A nice tash, man.
Air shake.
Thank you very much. I'm getting a head start on Movember.
From now.
I tried to do Movember for the football team, but I didn't grow anything. So, there's a before and after photo, and I look exactly the same. I just have more hair on my head. It's just mental.
I started mine in June, I think, and that's last June. It's not even been June yet this year, so it's a long time. This has been coming.
It's been going since June.
Yeah, and that's all I got.
It's not bad, I like it.
Thank you. I'll take a compliment. That's the first. First of all, I'd like to start off with the one of the best announcement videos of the transfer window. You joining Charlton. How did that come about?
What text? Need a right back. Fancy it? Hashtag done deal. Hashtag right back in business. Why not?
I went in there to sign. I was sitting with a media team before, and they'd seen through my socials, my Twitter, that I was a big Love Island fan, because I used to, like the rest of the world, I think, sit down whilst Love Island was on and just comment on it and hashtag Love Island, blah, blah, blah. And they'd seen that. And then there's just we want to do something Love Island themed. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm all over it. I'm all over it. And then they come up with that idea. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So I put my acting skills to the test, and we done it. And the acting was awful, but it got a good response, and it's a bit of funny, and I'm down to show a funny side, a banter side of myself. So yeah, no, that's how that come about, and I think it was quite good actually.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I never saw it when it was announced, but literally 5 minutes before you came on the Zoom, I was like, oh my god, I've just found this. I just found Manny's announcement video, and it's brilliant. So we had to start off with it.
I think it was really good because it's a way to get a bit of a personal feel to you as a new player. The Charlton fans were able to see what you're like, because normally it's just I'm a Wimbledon fan, and it's sometimes the announcements. This year it was just videos. It's hard to get a feel, whereas yours was brilliant, absolutely amazing. It trumped everything else, I think.
No, but that's credit to the Charlton media team, who obviously Billy's already met. But yeah, credit to them. And like you said, yeah, it's nice to just be able to show a bit of your personality when you when you're announcing yourself to fans, So no, that was good, and hopefully we could keep that going.
Next point is, so you followed Ben Garner to the Valley, but unfortunately things don't always go out as planned in football. How did you see that as a player, Ben Garner? How did his time kind of look on the pitch and behind the scenes?
Yeah, like you said, obviously myself and Ben have got a great relationship. He's known me as a player and as a kid since I was 11 at Palace Academy, and then obviously we linked up again at Swindon, and we had a successful end to the season. Well, a good end to the season at Swindon. Unfortunately, didn't end it with a promotion. He took me over to Charlton with him once he got the job there, and And yeah, things went all right. There was unfortunate. I got injured twice in the time that he was at the club, so twice in that space of 6 months in pre-season with my knee, and then a bit later on after breaking back into the team with my quad rupture, hype in my hip. So I didn't get to play as much of a part under him as much as I would have liked. I wasn't able to help the team and help him as much as I would have liked. And there was a period in there where I think of maybe the five of the starting back four, keeper, Jojo, centre half, Bonesy, O'Connor, and myself, three of us had long term injuries. So obviously that would do it. That would play a part in the team's structure and the team's like continuity. So that was a stage that the team, we started losing games and not picking up as many points as we could have. And I feel kind of disappointed at that because it's just like we didn't get a clean run at having, when you have three injuries to the back five, it's obviously going to play some sort of a part. So that was unfortunate. And then by the time I was fit, he'd obviously been relieved of his duties at the club. I think we'd fallen in the league a little bit, and things just weren't quite going as well as everybody would have hoped at the start of the season. So that was a bit disappointing. But obviously Dean Holden's come in, and he's a top manager as well, top manager and top man, top bloke. He made me feel part of the team even when I was out injured, and there was still a few months that I was out injured when he came in. So he's just made me feel part of it, and then slowly started to get me back into the team as well. And yeah, I only got strong words and good words for the both of them, both top managers, top young managers who are going to go on and do big things in the game, I think.
Well, Ben's gone on to Colchester, and they're, they're out of the relegation zone, and they're probably going to stay up, thankfully. Talking of being off the pitch and being unable to play, we spoke to Jayden earlier, and with his story, it's like his team were about to, clinch the title, whereas he was off the pitch, and it was kind of a conversation of, would you wish that they didn't win the title so that when you're fit, you could be on the pitch and be involved in the pitch invasion? Whereas where you're injured there and the team's not playing well, is it frustrating? Is it difficult because you feel like you can offer something and maybe change, you coming back or another defender coming back could completely change the team situation?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, it's frustrating because I don't, I feel like I could bring something to the team. Of course, it's not saying that if I was playing or the other three of us were playing that we would have been fighting for promotion or something like that. But you'd like to think that you'd be able to help at least. So I tried to help off the pitch, whether it's just motivating young lads, it's the nights, the dinners out, the nights out, just being a part of it. And I tried to do that. I can completely hear where Jayden would be coming from. There must be a frustration there, especially as the team's done so well. And we at Charlton had a bit of a cup run. We had a cup run, so to watch the team beat Brighton and then go up to Old Trafford and obviously lose to United, but be part of that would have been so, it was a bit annoying to see it, to just have to watch it from the stands. Obviously, it was great to be part of as a club, but you just imagine you could have been on the pitch during those games, putting yourselves up against, the likes of the Solly Marches, the Matomas, the Garnachos, Anthony's, whoever it may be, and you just obviously I would have loved to be on the pitch for them moments, but sitting in the stands for them moments was special as well because I was able to watch it from a fan's point of view, just watch it play out like the rest of the fans. It's like a bit of both, you obviously as a player you just want to be there watching, playing. But yeah, when you go on a good cup run or get promoted like Jayden's managed to do, there must be also, it's fun,
Were you part, obviously you were injured, but did you travel with the squad to Old Trafford?
Yeah, I did. I went up there not with the squad. They travelled the day before, but I travelled up same day. Obviously was in the changing room around it, sat in the stands just behind the bench with the rest of the players that weren't involved on the day. And that's what I mean about the gaffer just making me feel so involved. Like he gave us all that opportunity to come up, and I took it, and I wasn't going to miss it for the world. But to see, a proper game in a proper stadium of a theatre of dreams, and it just made me dream again, as a player. Maybe one day, it might not be for United, but play more games at this level in front of these amount of fans. Like, it just made me dream again.
I mean, I was like, obviously not from like a playing perspective, but I managed to get in the press box through Charlton. So like I went up, I had some mates who had tickets in the United stand, so we all drove up and I was in the press box. And I was there in the press box like, like I've been in Charlton press boxes and I've been on like local ones, but I'm in the Man U one like, like this is like another level up. And obviously that's obviously what you would have seen on the pitch or off the pitch, thinking obviously playing in with all these teams is great, but like obviously when you're at Old Trafford, it's just something different.
Yeah, of course. What is it? Is there a difference in level of press box as well?
Oh, mate, it was mental. Like, the seats were soft, there was a bench, the Wi-Fi was fast. And then when I go to, like, my local, obviously at uni, the local one is Cheltenham. Obviously, I think Man U press box, probably you could sit about 100 people. And the Cheltenham press box, I think you can struggle to squeeze 12. I'm truthfully honest. Like, you're in front of a plastic screen as well, which is dirty as well. I mean, like, obviously I'm not like playing down Cheltenham, like the press box, getting that experience is great. But then obviously when you get that chance at Man U, you're like, okay, I could do this every week.
You're like, boy, and now I've got to go back to Cheltenham and sit in this.
I'm a Liverpool fan as well, so I'm there like I should have been hating the experience, but I was there like, okay, like this is surreal, this is cool. I rate this, yeah.
I think you need to consider as well, like food.
Oh, the food was good.
I was gonna say the food must have been a level above.
We had a pie at half time with the Man U badge on, so I took the Man U badge off. But the pie itself was lovely. I want to talk about obviously you were at the Crystal Palace Academy, and you know they've had great players come up through the academy. You know they've got Wilfried Zaha. Did he come through the academy? Am I right?
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, did he come through the academy? But obviously they've got Jesran Raksaki, who's obviously with you now at Charlton, but obviously he's on loan from Crystal Palace. Kind of, do you guys bond over? Obviously, you get through the Crystal Palace Academy, and he's there right now, trying to get into the first team.
Yeah, we speak about things. Obviously, his age group, I would have never come across him when I was at Palace. He's a good few years younger than me, makes me feel old. But you know, there's certain people around the club that have been there since I was his age and I was a kid. And then there's Ryan Innes as well, who was at the Palace Academy. So the three of us kind of speak about it every now and then. You know, there's some people that are part of the furniture at football clubs that never leave the academy managers and coaches in the academy and stuff like that. So yeah, we speak about that. And obviously there's just the whole, like the other day I was singing one of the Palace songs to him in the change room before the game, just to make him feel at home. So hoping that it would bang in a couple goals for us and see us over the line in that game. So yeah, just little things like that. There's a bit of banter, you know, between us. And yeah, but he's doing so well for himself, coming away from Palace, coming away from the academy and doing well in the 23s or 21s, whatever they call it now, to then come on his first loan and take to it like a duck to water, you know, is quite special. I think he's got 15 or something goals now with like 7 or 8 assists for a 20-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid in his first season. It's unbelievable. So I'm sure he's got a bright future ahead of him, and Palace have got another great player coming through that pipeline.
So you came through the Palace Academy. Once you've left the academy, will you always have a soft spot for Palace? Do you always, if they're on TV, do you back them? If you know, well, I was going to say bet, but you're a football league, so can't really talk about that.
In terms of Premier League teams, there'd be the ones or the second, one of the two that I look out for, along with, you know, obviously Arsenal being a gooner. So yeah, no, Palace will always have a little bit of soft spot in my heart. Even I don't think there's not many players. Obviously, I grew up watching Nathaniel Klein in his first stint at the club, and then in Wilf's second stint at the club, we trained together and, you know, traveled to away games together and stuff like that. So obviously, I'll look out for them, see how they're doing, and obviously, they've both had pretty amazing careers. So yeah, no, I definitely look out for Palace. They'll be the second team that I'm willing on to win games.
I think one of the next points we've got to talk about the under-17s with England.
You were part of the, which I didn't get the chance to speak to you about it, properly the other week, but you were part of the England squad in 2014, the under-17s. You travelled to Malta, of all places, which I've been to, and it's brilliant. You travelled there, part of the squad, and you won the Euros when you played with Joe Gomez and Dominic Solanke, but then obviously you came against, you wrote it down, you had Ruben Neves, Renato Sanchez, Van der Beek, all of these players were playing in that tournament, and you were part of it, and you were part of the team that won. How cool of an experience was that for you? Obviously, now it's coming up to 10 years almost. I was like, I don't want to make you feel old as well, but you're still 25. But how do you look back on it?
Yeah, no, with fond memories. Like you say, even just to think that you've come up against players like that. I didn't even realise Ruben Neves was part of the tournament. So, but obviously Renato Sanchez, because we would, you wouldn't just play. We didn't just play against these teams in the tournament. Obviously, being those European teams and the local teams, a lot of the tournaments that we'd go to from under 16s all the way through under 19s and obviously beyond for some of the other lads would have been the same players. So you grow relationships with them. Some of these tournaments, they're all in the same hotel. So between games, we'll be in the pool together, or we'll go to each other's rooms and play FIFA. And yeah, like you say, Stevie Bergwijn, Renato Sanchez, you come to make relationships with them and then see what they've gone on to do in their careers. It's phenomenal. So yeah, those tournaments are always looked back on with fond memories. And it was like a pleasure to be able to obviously chuck the England shirt on and be able to play for your country and represent and win a trophy. Yeah, there's nothing better, really.
I'm still waiting for my England call-up, but when you first get the England call-up, the initial one, can you explain that feeling?
I've seen you play for England before, no?
No, that was probably my twin or something.
Oh, it must be a twin. You must get that a lot.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Getting the initial call-up, how big is it for you, for your family, for people around you?
Yeah, obviously representing your country is a big achievement, and we're British, English, and Nigerian as well. And whichever shirt it would have been to put on, it's always going to be a huge, proud moment for the family, for my parents, and that's what it was at the time. I remember at the time my dad come to Malta to watch the group stages. My mum and dad have travelled to a whole load of England games, whether it be in this country, abroad, and that's the same with Palace and over to Germany. And over to the US as well. My mum come before COVID hit. She had like a 2-week period before COVID hit, and she managed to make it over in my first week out there. So, they've followed me far and wide. So obviously, the family is very proud.
Yeah.
Families. I was going to say family is something that Jaden spoke about as well. It's especially being young in an academy. How much of your family been as like a contributing factor for you making it through the hard struggles of being in an academy, because it's intense. But when you're, even when you're there training, but even coming home, you've got to have tough skin to be able to make it through an academy system. How did your family help you through that period? Yeah,
absolutely. I think without them, it goes without saying, really. Without them, it would have been completely impossible. Just from and it was both of them equally. Although my dad would do, God rest his soul, my dad would do most of the travelling on most of the days and come to the away games in Norwich or Coventry or wherever it may be. There was a time when my mum was taking me up to Palace every Saturday, Sundays as well. And then from school in Essex, them drives to South London after school to go train, which don't get thought of as much, but there's hours in the car. And then there's the fact that your siblings are doing them hours in the car with you and they don't get anything out of it, and they're sacrificing their lives as well without even really realizing it. So without that dedication from not just myself, because I didn't really have to do much, I was just being taken to these places, and obviously I'd be on the pitch and working, but a lot of the behind the scenes come from my mum, my dad, and my sisters and little brother as well. So I owe everything a lot to the family and their dedication, because it helped, and without them, it would, like I said, be completely impossible.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously after the academy, you moved to Germany at 17, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Obviously, it was around the time where you saw a lot of English players were starting to move to Germany. obviously you think you had, I'm not sure when, but Jadon Sancho was going out to Dortmund around that time. You had Reece Oxford had just gone, obviously, and you played with him at Gladbach. Why for yourself, why did you choose Germany rather than staying in England or going to, Spain or Portugal, somewhere like that?
Well, I remember wanting to just try something different, and not, obviously at Palace, I would have assumed that I would be looking at to go on loan. I was in and around the first team at Palace, but as I was 17 years old, so I'll train with them, travel with them. I'd never quite made the bench, but I'd been 19 man a few times, and I might have got an appearance here or there. I might have played every week, but my assumption was that I would have been sent out on loan to the lower leagues and had to do the loans. I just didn't want to do that at that time. I wanted to go out to a foreign country and do that. And actually, I would have been up for going on loan to a foreign country. I think initially when I had the idea, I wanted to sign up at Palace and then go on loan to Holland, play in the Eredivisie, and then come back to Palace, and etc., etc., etc. So when we started looking at the possibility of moving abroad, it just so happened that it wasn't Holland but Germany, and it wasn't a loan but a permanent move to Gladbach. And I thought, yeah, why not? And that was it. It was like that opportunity came about along with a few other clubs in Germany. But when Gladbach want you, that at that time they just got back into the Champions League. Massive club. You go and look around the stadium, the training pitch, and then knowing that the city is just fully football mad, it was a no-brainer. And that's how that move came about. Really, there was never really any talk of France, Spain, Portugal. I know that a few lads do that nowadays. But yeah, Germany was just the one for me at the time. And then obviously over the years, I think the next year, Sanch moved to Dortmund. Maybe a year after that, Ox moved to Gladbach as well. And then Keenan Bennett, who was at Spurs' academy, ended up moving to Gladbach. I took him under my wing as well. And then, so since then, it's not as wild as it was when I first went. But when I went, it didn't seem wild to me. It just seemed like, why not?
Would you say you set the trend for English players moving to Germany?
I wouldn't say it, but some would. I mean, some would. Some. Yeah. Those who know, give me my flowers. Sanch Defo came the year after, but it doesn't really matter who done it first. It's who did it best, and he done it amazing. Well,
You look at Bellingham right now, obviously with England. I mean, he's whether he moves in the summer or not. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I hope he stays for one more year and then we get him on a free. I doubt that will happen. But obviously you see him and how well he's done. I mean, I'm 19 and I remember looking. He's a week younger than me, and he's pretty much club captain of Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I don't know why I googled him earlier today. And the kid's born in 2003.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm 19 years old and done what he's done already in the game. It's mental. Star at the World Cup just gone as well. He's not just a young kid coming up. He's a mainstay in the England team.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're 19 and we're just at uni, just trying to just get part-time jobs to keep things going. And then you've got Jude Bellingham off living it big in Dortmund.
I'm just trying to take Wimbledon to the Champions League on career mode. You know me.
Yeah, I feel you. It's what was we doing at 19, and he's doing that.
I'm burning stuff in the toaster at 20. It's really tough.
That's the thing. But then he's probably doing that. He's probably doing that too. On Tuesday night, but then running out. It's signaling doing a park in the Champions League on a Wednesday.
In front of 60,000, yeah. No, it's God. But you've got to have. I don't think I could. I mean, for me at 18 or at 17, I had to decide whether I wanted to stay in London for uni with my parents or move 2-3 hours away, and that was a massive decision for me. But obviously, and that's me at but obviously you and so many other players had to decide whether to move country. And then you'd have to learn a whole new language. When you put those two together, I'm just wow. How I ever found that as difficult as something like that. It's crazy.
No, I hear you, but to be honest, when I was that age, I literally just saw it as furthering my education. Yeah. I saw it as all my friends are moving, maybe not necessarily out of London, but moving away into the uni accommodations, whether it's up Leicester. So it was, for the most part, it is out of London. They're going Leicester, they're going here, they're going there, Manchester, wherever they go, Birmingham. And I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm going Germany. Like, I'm going Mönchengladbach. Like, you have to travel 2-3 hours on the train to get home, and you have to travel an hour on a plane. So it's not that different. So I just, like, literally, that's just how I saw it. And I just went and did it and didn't think anything else of it.
It's quite a big move to make, isn't it, to go abroad? Because, you know, you feel like if you were to go on loan in your own country, I'm talking from not experience here, but it doesn't seem as dangerous as going abroad. It's quite a big move. It's complete culture change as well. You're going to a completely different, because I'm sure Gladbach is nothing like Selhurst. So, you know, it's a risky move. Was there at any point when you've kind of signed the contracts, you kind of sit there and think, wow, I've done this now?
Nah, I think just the ignorance of youth just didn't even allow them thoughts to come into my mind. I was literally just going to a new club. I don't know why, but I remember moving from Germany to the US 4 or 5 years later, much more apprehensive about that move than I was about moving as a 17-year-old to Germany, because I guess I knew more. I knew that I had the knowledge to know that there's more that can go wrong. But when I was 17, there was nothing that could have gone wrong. It was just, I'm going to do this, nothing can go wrong. I'm going to go kill it and come back to the Prem when I'm 23, 24 years old, and Bob's your uncle, we're playing for Arsenal in 6 years. But then, having said that, you go out there and, like, you realise that the Prem ain't the be-all and end-all of football. It really isn't. Like, you got an amazing league in the Bundesliga. You got an amazing league in the second Bundesliga, where you get, you know, anywhere between 15 to 30,000 in stadiums every single week. Crazy fans filling up their stadiums every week, passionate. And I know that if you go to some teams in the EFL, you know, you're not filling up your stadium every week. So, like, there's no empty seats in the German second division at all. And the level is just as good for the most part, you know? So it's like, there's a much, much bigger footballing world out there than just in the UK. And I say that, obviously, I'm here now. And I think that the next stage of my career is in the UK. But eventually it won't be again. I'm I've got nothing against going and playing anywhere in the world, really. Later on in my career, I'd love to go back to the US. I'd love to play out in Germany again, Holland, because I never did that, and that was a goal of mine. So France, anyway, you know, I'm up for playing all over the world, because the footballing world is massive, and there are real crazy fans in every corner of the world.
I think a lot of people are quite shocked by the quality of the football in America now, because at first America, you know, had the stereotype that you go out there when your career's going on, but the amount of English people that go out there with like scholarships, more like teenagers, 20 years of age, the quality of football out there is actually top tier, I would say. Did it surprise you playing out there, or did you kind of know what you were getting yourself into?
I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into, but I didn't have any doubt that when you go into a top division, there's going to be amazing quality, you know, and then there's massive players that have played in that league. So, when you've played I played for a team, to be able to say that I've played for the same team as Thierry Henry's played for is like, it's a bit mind-blowing to me. Like, I've played for New York Red Bulls, Thierry Henry played there, Bradley Wack Phillips played there. Then you've got, you know, obviously Beckham started it with LA Galaxy, and Zlatan's played for LA Galaxy. Tim Cahill's been out there. There's Higuain. I've swapped shirts. I've played against and swapped shirts with people like Higuain and Victor Wanyama, and it's mental, you know. So obviously the quality out there is massive, and there's some great young talents out there as well that are getting moves to Europe. And obviously I didn't see myself as maybe staying in America forever. So I wouldn't have gone out there if I didn't think that there was quality enough for scouts to be watching to eventually end up back in Europe again. So no, it didn't surprise me. I didn't know exactly just how the playing style would be, but it didn't surprise me at all either.
You mentioned Beckham, you mentioned Higuain, two players who play for or surrounding Inter Miami. Inter Miami is also another point I wanted to bring up. Let's talk about that penalty.
Okay, yeah, sure.
For a defensive player, you showed some sauce, you showed some prowess. Are you a penalty taker yourself? Did you put yourself forward as a penalty taker?
Yeah, Yeah. So at New York, yeah, that was I think my first or second start for the club after all the COVID period, etc. So there was still no fans. There was cardboard cutouts of fans in the stands, but they just weren't quite as intimidating. So I stepped up and yeah, slotted it, and since then went on to take 5 or 6 penalties for New York Red Bulls, and I think I only missed one. So yeah, I'm up for taking a penalty. I have realized now that I've gotten older, as there's no point anymore. Like I leave that for the lads that are happy to miss a pen, because if you don't if you don't step up, then you can't miss. So I'm sweet with just sitting in the background. I'm a defender. I let the attackers go out and put themselves up for that. But yeah, no, I'm more than happy to. Swindon, for example, well, I wasn't in the top 5 in our penalty shootout. I don't know why the gaffer didn't nominate me to take in the top 5, but it got to the 7th pen and I slotted that one as well. And that was a bit more nervy. That was a playoff semi-final against Port Vale. And I've never felt the butterflies in my belly like on that day. But yeah, that ended up in the back of the net as well. So yeah, I'm a confident penalty taker.
Have you taken a penalty on like Saturday League?
In the garden. I slot it every time. Like, there's no keeper, but I'll finish it every time.
I took my I never take pens, but I took my first penalty in a proper 11-side game last season for the uni team. It was a semi-final. It was sudden death, and if I missed, we would get knocked out.
And what happened? You got knocked out?
No, hey, come on, no. Yeah, do you not have a bit of hope? Have a bit of hope.
You just said it like you was gonna be telling a bad story.
Trust me, when I tell you, it was the worst penalty you've ever seen.
It's the pitch.
I went.
It's the pitch.
No, it was a 4G. It was a perfect pitch. I'm like, it was all my fault. I'm right-footed, so I went like a cross body. I went to the keeper's right, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna slot it like middle side netting. I scuffed the ground. Keeper gets 2 hands to it, and it dribbles across the line. You were there. You were watching it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The keeper literally got 2 hands. It went in. Literally, like the team must have thought I'd given the keeper a tenner or something.
I tell you what though, I've got a bad penalty story at Palace in the FA Youth Cup. We was playing in Hillsborough against Chef Wed. It must have been, obviously, if it was Hillsborough. And then we had a penalty. It was 3-3 in like the 88th minute, and we got a pen. I was a first year scholar, and I stepped up, and so this is to make it 4-3 with 2 minutes to play, and I skied it. I blazed it top my right over the net completely, and there's an advertisement board and it had Pucker Pies on it, and then their keeper's gone to me, you hit Pucker Pies, you hit the Pucker Pie. And then obviously I think the game ended up ending 3-3. We've gone extra time, ended up being 4-4 after extra time, and then obviously it's gone to penalties, and I've stepped up again, and this time I've gone top right again, and I've hit the crossbar.
Oh no.
So yeah, before I started getting good at pens, I missed 2 in the FA Youth Cup against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough.
Did you win the shootout?
Oh no. Please don't tell, you weren't the one your penalty wasn't the decider.
I don't think it was. I think a few of us missed. A couple of us missed.
That makes it better.
That makes it better.
Only slightly. I missed 2 in the game. But yeah, you learn, and I've been pretty good from the spot since.
What about Pucker Pies? Have you got a bad relationship with them? Are they out the window? Are they?
There's no Pucker Pies over here in this household.
I want to quickly go back to America. When obviously Gladbach, your time was, and you were looking for another club basically. What stood out to you about the MLS?
Between Gladbach and going to the MLS, there was another club in the second division in Germany. Actually, it was Darmstadt. So that was a massive club. They're on the brink of promoting into the Bundesliga again now. How I wish I stayed. So no, a massive club. But at the time, I was just going. There was a few things going on personally in my life, and I just wanted to change again. I wanted to move out of Germany, and that opportunity just happened to coincide with me needing a change in my life. And yeah, so I was just like, listen, can I go out to the US and still eventually come back to Europe if things go well? Probably, especially with it being a Red Bull club, you know, with the links to Salzburg and Leipzig. This could be possible. So I did it. I just took to it. Well, I wouldn't say I just took to it like a bird to water, duck to water this time. This one was a lot more calculated and what could go wrong, pros, cons, and in the end just decided, yeah, why not? And give it a shot. And yeah, I had good 2 years there where off the pitch things were amazing. On the pitch, not so much. Well, not so much. So I say things were amazing. There was COVID for the first year, but then when things started to open up and you got to experience New York City, obviously, it was pretty amazing.
And I mean, advice for anyone, because we were going to have loads of people listening. We're going to have loads of people listening at some point. Any advice to anyone who is thinking about making a move, anyone who's in an academy position or a position to make a move as such, going out to America, going out to Europe to try different things other than just the English football system? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say everybody's journey is different. There are success stories and there are not so successful stories, but no one will be able to take away the experience from you if you do choose to go out and do it. If you do it, immerse yourself in the culture at the club that you're at, the culture at the country, in the country that you're at. Try to learn the language, because then that's something else that no one can ever take from you. And just give it your all. It's tough. It's not easy. You might travel without family, you might travel out of your comfort zone. But like I said, the experience is something that nobody will ever be able to take away from you. And whatever happens on the pitch, you can't guarantee that you're going to play 150 games in the Premier League if you stay in England. Same way you can't guarantee you're going to play 150 games in the Bundesliga if you move to Germany. But what you can guarantee is that you're having experience from it. And if you can make the most of that, then you kind of set up for, maturity, a good mature adult life.
I think that's something that we can, as a collective, we can all kind of warm to, is that you need confidence. We need confidence on the media side of football, because you won't be good in commentary if you're not confident. You won't be good at writing stuff down, or you must have shown immense amount of confidence to go out to Germany and then to go all the way over to the Big Apple and perform over there. So I think that's probably one of the key messages from this podcast, is probably confidence brings success in football, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then I'll hopefully be delving into the world of media soon, and maybe some punditry. So I'm hoping to bring just as much confidence as you lads when I do that side as well.
Would that be something you'd want to do then at the end of your career?
Yeah, even during.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a great pundit. Did you not catch my appearance on Charlton TV when I was injured?
No. When?
I had an appearance as a not as a host, as a guest. Pundit, I guess. We played against Barnsley at home, and obviously I was injured. I'd been injured for a while, and they invited me up there, and yeah, I had a whale of a time. And since then, my bio on Instagram has been purely pundit, because that's what I am now.
I saw that on your bio. I was going to ask, why does it say pundit? But it makes sense now.
Because I am one.
Yeah, no, I need to check that out, the punditry, because I can tell like you like having a chat just like in front of a camera or just the people, which is obviously it's going to help with the punditry. Yeah,
no, I don't know if there'll be anything online, but I know that my mum definitely pretty much recorded the whole thing, so I'll send you over some clips.
Yeah, because we had to we did like another assignment. We've got to commentate on a football game live, right? So you have to be at the game commentating live, and I did the Charlton Burton game, the one that you started, your first game back. So like a couple of weeks ago. So obviously you started, and I was like, okay, because like this is cool. I'm glad you're starting. But before the game, I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like all I'm going to be doing is speaking. As soon as the ref blew his whistle, I stopped. I couldn't speak. I was there like, and it's like no one's hearing it. It's literally just me speaking into my phone. But even then, I'm just like, oh, this is tough. I can't do this.
Did you have a co-commentator?
Nah, I was on my own.
Okay, yeah, that's tough. I think that commentary obviously is much tougher than any sort of in studio stuff, to be honest. because you gotta do your research. You gotta have stats. You gotta know all the names, and you gotta be able to show. Obviously, it's not like radio. Well, it could have been, but it's not like radio commentary where you have to paint the exact picture. But even still, even if TV commentary is like, you gotta be pretty bang on, and not just necessarily say what's happening in front of you, and also not be a fan. I think it was the Ipswich commentary. Obviously, watching the goals back, it was a bad game that we played, but it was against, obviously, they had 6 goals to celebrate. And it was just a fan, it seemed like. He's like, oh, he scored! And I'm like, that's not commentary. Like, you're just reacting. But yeah, no, I can imagine it must be quite tough.
Yeah, I did my first one. It was probably a similar time. I did Sutton. They had Leyton Orient at Sutton's ground, and it was 2-0. I don't know if you've seen the goals, but you've seen them. Yeah. They were both absolute screamers. Tom James, the right back, who just seems to score from only 30 yards out. So they've scored 2
That's what you need to start doing, by the way. Scoring from 30 yards out.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully.
They've hit 2 cracking goals, and I'm obviously like forgetting I'm commentating. I'm like, oh Jesus, like, and I'm like, oh okay, I can't use that. That can't go to anyone. But talking of goals, celebration. Is there a go-to celebration?
No, I don't score enough to have a go-to celebration.
But doesn't that give you more time to plan one?
And forget it. I've been thinking recently that I'm like just gonna start drawing for old school Thierry Henry celebrations, like anything on the corner flag, like the Haaland boys been doing recently. Yeah. Or there's one on the goalpost where he kind of just rests on the goalpost.
I've been seeing loads of people. That's what what's he called? The Arsenal loanee Balogun. That's what he did the other week, and it was all over Twitter. It was everywhere.
Yeah. They've been. I think it must be something in the Haaland group chat, because obviously Saka's done it. Yeah. Balogun's done it. Chris Willock done it. Jez Raksaki's got a couple. He changes it up every week. He had something with Sean going, and then with Corey Blackett-Taylor before he get injured. So they got their little clique of celebrations. TC, young Campbell at Charlton as well. They got their little celebrations going on, but they never seem to involve me in them for some reason.
I was going to say, you're going to have to start tapping them up and be like, oi.
I have to get involved. But yeah, no, I don't have one I go to.
No, it's all right. Next time you score, just have a shirt underneath that says, listen to the Capital Lowdown podcast on Spotify. Lift it up. Big time. We'll go big time.
What, and take the yellow card?
I'll pay your fine.
Yeah, we'll cover the fees.
How much is like? I got booked the other day at Saturday League and I had to pay £15. But how much is a fine for yellow red cards in League One?
I'm not exactly sure. I think if you got a yellow for, nothing to do with non-sporting conduct, then you wouldn't get a fine for it. I don't think. Okay. I don't know what it would be if you got an accumulation of 5, or if you got a red card for something that's not sporting, for unsportsmanship. But I couldn't tell you. All I've ever got is yellow cards, and I've never been fined from. Apart from at Gladbach, I got fined. I got a red. The referee misunderstood me, shall we say. I spoke English, and he said I'd said something in English that he clearly didn't understand as a German-speaking referee, and gave me a red card for it. And I had to pay a €1,500 fine for that.
Oh, that is a lot.
Yeah, it weren't ideal. At all.
Oh, that's you walking to training for the week then?
Like petrol tank empty.
God, I was going to say, I was looking through all your stats from this season. You don't get many yellow cards. Yeah, you're a good boy, I guess.
Generally not. And I know last season or 2 seasons ago at the Red Bulls, I got a few. And I actually, I got banned for an accumulation at one stage. For a few yellow cards.
Yeah, I remember I got booked. I only ever get booked for talking to the referee. I've never ever been booked at Saturday League, for uni, Sunday League for a foul. It's always been talking to the ref. and well, I was really proud of it. It was after England beat Wales 3-0 in the World Cup. We had a uni game in Cardiff, so we travelled over to Wales, and the referee was Welsh. So I said, the referee, I don't think he had a great game, personally. We were losing 3-0. I wasn't having a good time. I wasn't touching the ball. I was playing up front. Nothing was happening. And he gave a free kick. He gave a free kick to them, and I just said to the ref, "Oh, are you giving them all the free kicks because we beat you last night?" And he turned around, brandishes the yellow card, walks off.
Yeah. That's why you keep getting fined then, because yours ain't for tackles. Yours is just for too much minutes.
Exactly. Well, like
being an idiot.
The uni manager gave me the kit after the game and made me wash it as well. So I need to zip it up a bit. But
the one that I got banned for when I was at the Red Bulls was actually for taking my shirt off after scoring a goal.
Oh, really?
I think it was my 8th or something, and 8 yellows ended up being a 1-match ban or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, manager weren't too happy about that.
So you score and the shirt comes off. Was that the initial reaction, or did you just think, right, I've got nothing to do, I'll just...
That was just because I had nothing to do. Like I've made this long busting run for my counter attack. I think they had a corner and then it's been cleared. And then obviously just, I don't know why, I just started running forward as a right back. I just started running forward, but do it through the middle of the pitch. And the players looked up, played it across to me, and I've gone on my left foot, chopped onto my right. Keeper's come out, and I've dinked it over him. And then there's a few of the lads was warming up, and I just took my shirt off and just started swinging about, having a bit of a jolly up. And the next one I know, the refs give me a yellow, and I didn't know it was my 8th, and I ended up being banned for a week.
Was that 10 minutes into the game, or was it like a last minute winner?
I think it was 3-0 up at that point anyway. It was 2-0 up or 3-0 up at that point, but it was late in the game, yeah.
It's all right.
I was going to say, it couldn't have been a first half goal. That would have been...
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, late on in the game when we won. That's probably why I didn't get fined for it, because the gaffer was fine. We won.
Yeah, it's all right. Obviously, as a right back, we've all seen the right back role is probably the most talked about position in England, definitely, with all the right backs that we have playing for England and such. How much do you like? Obviously, the new right back role is you've got to be as good out of an attacker as you are a defender. Is that something that you quite like? The right back role has now changed into since obviously you started playing.
These days, maybe sometimes you can even get away with being a better attacker than you are a defender, depending on the team you play for. But yeah, I relish both sides of the game. I love taking pride in the defensive side of the game. I love a slide challenge just as much as I love defending a 1v1. I think it's more to do with the pride of it, and you're directly up against a left winger. Left wingers most of the time are the best players on a pitch, so it's my job to keep them quiet. And the pride of that is something that I live for. So I love just shutting up shop on a left winger, putting them in my pocket like Aaron Wan-Bissaka seems to do with every single left winger that he plays up against. But then also on the other side, I love to get up, and I think I cherish or relish, should I say, assists more than I do goals, which is why I ain't got a celebration. But yeah, so I like to get up, get crosses in, and assist players as well. So yeah, both sides of that, like you say, for a right back are very important in this day and age. And I like to think that I can do both sides pretty well, not necessarily have a strong point, but just be a well-rounded modern fullback.
That's the thing, the right backs as well for England at the minute, it's not looking great. Trent is always in the media or in the social media eye for the wrong reasons. Whether he's 1 minute he's all right, 1 minute he's not all right. You got Reece James.
Oh, he's just injured.
He's injury prone.
Yeah, Reece James, top player, I think. Kyle Walker, there was Glenn Johnson who really changed the role for English right backs. Obviously, after Gary Neville, who didn't go past the halfway line. Yeah, the Glenn Johnson, the Nathaniel Kleins, and then come Kyle Walker. And, since then it's been, Kyle Walker, Reece James, Trent, like you say, Aaron, who's obviously eligible.
You got Trippier now with Newcastle as well. I mean, I know he's getting on, but he's doing well, yeah.
He's a top player, reliable, been doing it for years. also played out abroad, which is like why I have a bit of a soft spot for him too. But yeah, like you say, that position is just filled with top world-class talent. I wouldn't like to be Southgate having to make them decisions.
Maybe one day you'll be one of the decisions that he has to make.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows? Whether for England or for Nigeria, if I ever get to, play a World Cup, that would be a dream come true.
I mean, Jamie Vardy was like, what was he, 29, 30 when he got his England call up?
Exactly. It's never the end. It's never the end. You don't know when. Never say never.
No.
I think it's one of the other mottos.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my call, but
Mine. Yeah, my phone's actually gone off a couple of times, but I'm doing a podcast, so I've kept it out of view.
Yeah, I heard that one before.
But before we finish up, because obviously I don't want to keep you too long, we've looked back quite a lot. Looking ahead really quickly, what's the goal for you? Obviously next season, obviously would be at Charlton or whatever. But like, what's the goal? Like, where do you want to see? What do you want to have done in 10 years' time when you're closer to retirement than you are obviously right now? Obviously you're still young, 25.
Yeah, I mean, starting, you called me old just a few minutes ago, but okay.
Nah, it was a joke.
All of a sudden I'm young again.
He's backtracking.
It was a joke.
But nah, obviously the next season or two, I'm contracted at Charlton, and this season has been a bit up and down, topsy-turvy and frustrating. So the most important thing for myself would be to make sure I stay fit next year. And if I stay fit, then everything else, I'm pretty sure, and I have the confidence from the times I have played this year that if I stay fit, everything else will take care of itself. If I can play well and the team's playing well, then obviously we're hoping to push for a promotion. That would be one thing that would be nice to have in my locker at the end of my career, be a promotion, maybe win a championship, but definitely, make the playoffs again. And I know what that takes, having done it at Swindon last year. And the dedication and the team morale that we had there was just, crazy. Even though I wasn't part of it for the whole season, just for the few months that I was, we was all just pushing for one goal. So hopefully to get that done before I leave Charlton, to go up the leagues with Charlton, to play in the championship, to play, in a strong championship side at some stage. And then from there, you never know what can happen, whether it's through a promotion, playing in the Prem, or then moving back to Germany, trying to get into the Bundesliga, moving to Holland, trying to play in Eredivisie, moving to France, trying to play in Ligue 1. Those are all dreams of mine. To then eventually maybe go and play out in the MLS again towards the end of my career, or go and play in Saudi or Dubai. Dubai is an amazing city. I'd love to play there, live there. And yeah, those, like 10 years time, 15 years time when I retire, probably closer to 10 years time when I retire, I'd love for it to be, in a nice hot country, maybe with a kid, a wife, and yeah, who knows?
Nah, sounds like a good plan.
That's a better plan than me.
Yeah.
Mine's just kind of just survive.
That's it. Survive.
Listen, in this cost of living, we're all just trying to survive at the moment.
Pay off the student loan, maybe.
Yeah. Mine's just don't get any speeding tickets, don't get any parking fines. see where I end up.
All the amount of letters that come through the door on a daily basis, but I've got too many parking tickets.
Well, I've got my driving test soon, so hopefully I don't get any parking tickets before then. But before we go, is that school photo behind you? Is that your old school class, or is it someone else?
There's a whole load of school pictures up here, and none of them are with me.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's all the siblings and cousins. I don't know where I am. Yeah, siblings and cousins. Not one of me, which is, that says everything, doesn't it?
Oh dear.
Probably just like move all the way back to New York.
Yeah.
Start planning the move.
But no, thank you very much, mate. It's been a good laugh. That thanks a lot for helping out.
Thank you very much, Manny.
Anytime. All the best at school and uni. Eh?
Yeah, thank you. But I'll see you in a couple of weeks at Cheltenham.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay fit, because I want to see you on the pitch, and I'm going to try and get in. I'm going to try and get into the way end anyway. All right. Yeah, I'll see you soon, mate. Thanks a lot, pal. See you later, bud.